We're here with the linebacker coach and also recruiting coordinator of Coahoma Community College's football team, Coach Charles Lee. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing good there, BK.
Great, great. I wanted to, talk to you a little more about the recruiting class of Coahoma Community College this year. Very good recruiting class indeed, and especially yesterday we had a total of probably 25 signees. But can you tell us a little bit more about the breakdown of the signees and also what the process that y'all had to go through to get these great football players to come here at Coahoma Community College?
Well, last year we had a heavy offensive signing class because we hit early in the mid semester at Christmas on defensive players with guys like Cecil Cherry and guys like that came in at Christmas and Demond Kemp. So we hit early. So last year our high school kids were mostly offensive players. Well, this year we know we had to replace linebackers. We had to get 6. And starting off with the linebackers, we got a guy named Will Robinson from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Alabama All-Star participant, first team All-State. He was a kid that saw that, Cecil and Davion Taylor went on to play Division I football and had the choice to go to a lot of schools. And that was his final decision in coming to Coahoma. He felt comfortable with the coaching staff, with me, Coach Miller, Coach Harper, Coach Welch, all these guys. He felt comfortable with us when we sit down. He came on to visit. He said it felt like home, and we was glad that it felt like home to him. Second guy was Detavion Butler right down the road at Cleveland Central. He's a kid that's athletic. Started originally playing high school football at Rosedale, Mississippi. He was a kid that just from day one believed in the vision. When the districts were locked down, we would go to Cleveland. He said, "Coach, I'm coming. I know what y'all losing on at linebackers. I'm coming." So he was a play. Then we got a hidden gem there in D'Angelo Scales, a guy who could play nickel, strong safety out of Starkville High School. This kid can run. Came down between us and Jones at the end. And, he felt with us because we offered him last May, right after the spring football game down at Mississippi College. And he said that was the final decision. He just felt comfortable because we stayed on him all the time and treated him like he was top priority.
Absolutely, and that's awesome to bring in those guys here and everything else. And, and you had to go, to places everywhere to get these kids and everything. Can you share with us, a little bit more of like the process of what you got to do? I know you guys, that's when coaching comes in all year long. It's like Bill Belichick said, no days off.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing, as we went down to Vicksburg, Mississippi, and we got 3 great young men, and Jamon O'Neal, which is a linebacker that that one of the top linebackers that we signed. That I can't just discuss everybody because sometimes
right.
But Jamon O'Neal was one of the top guys. Joe Johnson, the quarterback at Vicksburg, and D'Angelo Dixon, the tight end out of Vicksburg, Mississippi, also wide receiver guy. He's going to be used as a Shannon Sharp type guy in the offense. It all started out with Jamon. We go down, I get down there and waiting on Coach Miller and Coach Shell to come do home visits, and Jamon just blowing me up. He's just so excited that we're coming. And because he's been a Twitter guy, he follows on Twitter, so he saw Davion and he saw Cecil and Ray John and all the accolades them guys was getting on defense. And he said, "Coach, I've been hearing a lot of negative things about Coahoma." He said, "All I ask, Coach, because y'all out-recruited me, y'all make sure I'm wanted." He said, "Just make sure y'all gonna take care of me there and get me to a Division I." So he called Cecil Cherry there on Twitter. Cecil Cherry said, "Hey, them guys are loyal. They're gonna take care of it. They're gonna do the right thing." He was sold. Then he worked on the quarterback, Joe Johnson. And Joe realized, hey, we don't have a quarterback. Our quarterback moved on. We're down to one guy coming back in the spring. So that was a deciding factor for Joe. He said, "Hey, I can come in at Coahoma and make a difference." When he came on his visit, he sat down with Coach Harper and Coach Miller and myself and broke it. Coach Harper broke down the offense. He said, "I can make a difference here at Coahoma." That was his decision. And D'Angelo Dixon, he realized, hey, I could be a star in the offense too, because he's 6'3", 220. Like I said, you can throw him out wide. You can put him in there and let him run drag routes. He can run quick outs. He can run seam routes down the middle. He can do a lot of things at that tight end / receiver type guy. And when them 2 guys were coming, they all 3 kind of buddies. He said, "I'm in at Coahoma." So that's how it worked for them 3. But the mom, Joe John's mom, she believed in us from day one. She was astonished. She looked up the school. She loved the location. She loved the the background, the demeanor that Coahoma have came in the past for us, things that happens on campus for us, what we do, and our dean of students and stuff like that. That just really amazed her.
Well, and that's really unbelievable. That let's talk about the one of the biggest signees that we didn't have in a long time here, even ever at Coahoma Community College, Legarian Carson, 4-star from Texas, and he has a great story in himself. Can you talk about him?
Well, Gary was a guy that Coach Welch identified from Texas through one of his contacts out there, and he kept staying on him and staying on him. Legarian, he was sitting out trying to wait to get qualified to go to Texas with his ACT. So he was in the process of graduating in last May 2017, and he was going to wait this fall to get eligible. Well, around October, when they realized that wasn't going to happen, Coach Welch got a call from one of his contacts out there, and Coach Welch went to work, and he stayed on the kid. And around Christmas time, the kid called Coach Welch, and he looked up and did his research on Coahoma, and he realized he can make a difference, and trusted Coach Welch and Coach Miller and the whole staff, and just made a great process to come to Coahoma. And he doesn't regret it.
Talk a little bit now about the Michigan State transfers that came in, this year to Coahoma Community College, and looks like they're going to make a difference in the program.
Well, Dunny Corley's a fine man, come from a fine family. Went to Martin Luther King High in Detroit, Michigan. Needed a place to home. We had, like I said, we had some contacts and how the things that get in touch, and we talked to the family, laid out the groundwork of what has to be done, what needed to be done, and they have met that criteria, still meeting that criteria, and they came to Coahoma. Dunny has, and he's doing a fantastic job. He's going to class every day. After class, he's getting his workout in and wants to do extra workouts to make this team better. He's pushing the other guys and just being a citizen already. Dunny had like over a 3.0 in high school, well on his way, and is going to graduate from Coahoma and go to another college after this. Then another guy named is Demetrius Vance. Demetrius Vance is from Cass Tech High School in Detroit, Michigan. He's another kid, had a 3.5 coming out of high school, needed a place to come home. Somebody's going to take care of him, vouch for him, give him that second chance that he needed. And he's doing a great job. Just like that, him and Dunny as roommates, they're having fun. They're calling kids up around Detroit, saying all positive things. Matter of fact, Dunny family knew about Coahoma because some of his family members came to Coahoma back in the early 70s, so that was one of the spotlights from Dunny, reaching out to Coahoma because some family over in the past have came to Coahoma. But Demetrius, again, 3.5 student, he done great, doing great in the classroom. Well, we don't have any problem with him right now. They're study meeting the criteria they need to be to get on the field. And they're pushing our team, and they're going to make our kids better. They're leaders already out there on the field for just doing the winter workouts. They're just established to call this place home. They're really excited about coming to Coahoma. Another man is Josh King that's coming on campus. He's a tough kid that same thing, just like them. He's a guy that just wants somebody to care for him, somebody he could trust, somebody he knows is going to have his back. And, Coach Miller does a fantastic job making them guys feel home, along with our coaching staff. They tell them, hey, we're here for you. We're going to take care of it. As long as you do your business, we got you. And so far, Coahoma Community College, the dean of students, the president, everybody's been showing them nothing but great love. And as long as these guys do what they need to do, they're going to be fine and successful.
That's huge right there, Coach Lee. And let's talk about the day itself. The day itself, signing day. My first experience, it seemed like it's different when we used to be a journalist, go to high school, all the high schools for presentation for the signings and stuff. But now behind the scenes in the war room in college football itself, and tell the people about the experience on the day, but also a little bit of the key of the day, the most important key, because I know a lot of people know now how it is behind the scenes in a war room. It's good when you hear the announcement and the signing, but everybody know the most important thing that people look for is what?
Is to get that LOI faxed in or taking that picture or email it to you some kind of way to get the scholarship in. But it's a stressful day in the beginning because when you go to sleep, you're excited because you look at your board the night before. and you send out some LOIs, and you still got a couple LOIs that you can type up in case that 50-50 kid that you don't want to burn, because this year they went different. We've had in the past, you could sign whoever you want. Like I could wake up in the morning and 10 kids want to come to Coahoma. Back in the past, I could just go over and get an LOI typed and they can decommit. Well, this year, if I got 26 issue scholarships and I can only issue out 28, then I only have 2 kids that if they change their mind on the morning that I haven't issued, I can issue out. So this year, what we kind of did is we looked at our board and we know we was going to have some scholarships. So we kind of waited on some, to kind of make that decision whether it was going to be good or bad. We're always hoping it was good. But the main thing is just that nerve wracking, because you never know what an 18, 19-year-old, 17-year-old kid is thinking before it's changing their mind. You never know we get that final phone call in, and the morning it kind of started off. We lost a couple of kids that that we had LOIs out for. So we was in the beginning. It was started off like we know it was gonna get better, because we know the work we put in it, the time, the texting kids, staying up to 12 and 1 o'clock, calling kids, going on Twitter, trying to see what they're tweeting about. That's how you kind of get out of deal. They always gonna tweet stuff, social media. So we was a little nervous at first, but then the first LOI came in the morning was Jordan Willis from Mendenhall, Mississippi, a kid that was at Brandon, Mississippi as his sophomore, junior year, was like the 34th best player on the team, and Brandon had a couple Division I guys go. He left Brandon to go back to Mendenhall, his home school. He had Gulf Coast, Pearl River, East Central, Southwest, Hines, he had them type of schools. Knew Jordan since Jordan was like in 10 years old, through refereeing baseball, and living in the area down there in Simpson County for a couple of years. So I kind of knew who Jordan was, and the family kind of trusted us. He stayed loyal. We stayed loyal to him. So he was the first signing. So that was the side of release. We got a running back. Well, then we started scrambling around. I started making sure, because making sure them LOIs come in fast. And the second LOI was D'Angelo Scales from Starkville, who I think is a hidden gem. A lot of people have to say he had us and Jones, but I think he's going to be a hidden gem. The guy can run, he can strike, he's a physical football player. I only played 2 years of high school football, and a lot of people kind of, high school, we played all the way through junior high. A lot of people kind of, overlooked him at first, but in the end, when people lost some LOIs, they tried to come back on him, and that's what the loyalty of us, staying on the kid, identifying him as a high school junior in a spring game down at Mississippi College in May, stayed on him, recruited him all the way up to that dead period, and then once the state opened back, we stayed on him, and that's what he said made the difference, was the loyalty. But he was the second LOI, and then the big fish started coming in for is just the LOI faxing. The 3 Vicksburg kids, I talked about it, Jamon, D'Angelo, and Joe, and they did a signing day live, and you just don't know the release, the pressure it was to realize that we had our quarterback. He was rated the #2 quarterback in the country. Jamon O'Neal had a couple of Division I AA visits, Central Arkansas, Alcorn. So he was a kid that went on a couple of visits there. So he's that type of kid that's a qualifier. Have one good year at Coahoma, he can go Division I. And D'Angelo Dixon, he can play multiple positions. So their LOIs came in. So now we got the feeling really good. Well, then Quishon Lucius out of West Lowndes High School. He was a kid that was committed to Hines, had ICC offers, reached out to Coach Welch. Told Coach Welch he liked what we was doing. Coach Welch goes over 2 weeks ago, built a great relationship with him. He realized that we needed help at receiver, that we wasn't full. And these kids, they look at stuff like that. They look at the depth chart. They look at who you're recruiting. They kind of have an idea of who's going to be in and who's going to be out on your board early. So he saw that some other schools was already kind of stacked at that position. He saw Oklahoma had a big need. He saw the rise that we were doing, and he could help our offense. So he signed. So when he signed, his fax came in. Oh man, that was a big one. That was the one that everybody just relinquished to. But
What's LOI? Can you explain what's
letter of intent?
Letter of intent, because some people might understand when you say LOI, but that's short for letter of intent. Just like you got the, like in football with the offense, you got the what's that, run pass option thing? RPO. RPO, but it's the other way around for the letter of intent.
And then Coach Harper went south, and he probably found one of the best offensive linemen in the South, Eric Trask, Wilkerson County, Woodville, Mississippi. This kid right here, I think it's going to be a rising star. I think he has the potential to come in next year and play either guard or tackle for us. I mean, we're really containing big things for him next year. He was one of the guys who would have had a lot of offers, but Coach Harper knew the coaches. He knew his contacts, and a lot of folks understand JUCO is all about who you know, the contacts. If you can get in, it don't matter how far you are. If you know the contacts and you get to know the family, and the family trusts you, they will send their kid to you because of the work ethic and the way the contacts goes. You know, and that's what was happened with Coach Harper. Then we got a name named Patrick Price, Lord Star. A little thing about Patrick is a rising star. The only reason Patrick was a guy that only had 2 or 3 offers because he played at a small 1A high school. Nobody hardly recruits that school. Coach Harper had a contact. His dad knew somebody there. His dad called Coach Harper and said, "Hey, it's a kid at Lord Star." Me and Coach Harper, we was down in Coahoma, Mississippi doing a little recruiting, heading back up to Jackson to do some recruiting. So what Coach Harper says, we went in there. Lord Star is right outside Brookhaven. So we go in there on one Thursday morning. It's cold. We go in the coach's office. He's got the heat. Calls Patrick in there, and I knew his high school football coach for a long time. And we sit down there, we were talking old time, and Patrick comes in. He tells some of the schools at first that they thought they could hire Patrick out because of the way people recruit the school. They were going to try to wait, offer him late. Well, Coach Harper and us, Coach Miller gave us the go-ahead to offer him. Coach Harper offered him early. And again, at the end, people tried to come in to get Patrick when they realize, hey, that board, because that board gets kind of thin. You always want to, do you have enough on that board? You know what I'm saying, VK? And, a guy like Patrick, stay loyal, came up on a visit last week before signing day, put on the Coahoma hat and shirt. Sunday's LOI, and it was just a rejoiceful day when that happened.
Yeah. And then it was one point we was like, I think it might have been Scales at one point. I think he came on a live feed on Twitter and stuff on like that from start when he made his announcement right then and there. We just went nuts in the war room when he made the announcement that that he's going to Coahoma Community College.
Yeah. Then we got 2 mid-year guys that people have not talked about right in our own district and own backyard. Bo Curtis and DeQuan Street. Bo Curtis was an outside linebacker type kid that can run, played outside linebacker in a rush in at Charleston High School. He's about 6'2", 200. He's a kid that's already on campus. He's working hard right now. He'll tell you, Coach, what time we're going to run today. I mean, I'm constantly getting texts because he wants to do everything. He don't want to miss anything. Even in the classroom, he had to get a book. He was getting a little late getting his book. He kept, hey, Coach, we need that book. When we got that book, he's the type of kid that is matured already coming out of high school, understanding the biddings he needs to graduate from Coahoma and to be a successful football player. Then DeQuan Street. He's a 6 feet ranger corner athletically. Had a couple, had offers from like Itawamba, Gulf Coast, but he made the statement one time, which is the best statement for us right now. He said, why go there 4 hours from home when I can drive over here 40 minutes and always go home on the weekend, see my mom? It's just junior college. And that's one of the factors that made him stay at home is, hey, he said 2 years, if I'm going to go to a 2-year school, I'm going to go to my local school and support it. And that way I can make sure everything comfortable and try to make that big decision to go to the 4-year school. So them 2 young men right there stay loyal. Then we went to Tunica, Mississippi. We got a guy named Ken Ware. He was an athletic kid out of Tunica, Mississippi. He's about 6'2", about 190. Ken is a kid that head Coach Miller went to practice when the districts was locked down. We only go to our district schools. And Coach Miller said, who is that rocked up guy right there that keeps just jumping with the vertical? And I looked, because they had 2 DBs, one went Division I. I said, oh, that's Ken Ware. He goes, that we offered? I said, oh, yeah. He said, you did good. You did good, Lee. You did good. It's me, him, and Coach Hill. He said, now we got to sign him. So, long story short, Ken stayed loyal. Ken had a couple offers, 2 or 3 offers from some schools. And the schools tried to, pressure him late to decommit. But, his love for CCC, the social media, we knew Ken, we felt good about Ken at Christmas when we got some, like you say, transfers in. Ken always would tweet out, welcome to the family, we getting better. And I remember New Year's Eve, he texted me and told me he was going to commit. Don't let nobody know about it. But I showed Coach Miller, And Coach Miller said, as long as he's true to the word, we're going to be true to him. And he was true to his word. If I'm on a kid that stayed, a local kid, Delta kid, and, it was just good. Then we went down to LaFleur County and signed Quadarius Edwards, defensive end out of LaFleur County, Enabinga, Mississippi. He's a kid. Mom came on a visit. Committed to us on his visit on the 20th. Went to Itawamba and some more schools on the visit. Had offers. Mom said, "Don't worry, guys. I want my boy to stay local." Another Delta kid to stay with us, and it was just a phenomenal way for him to stay with us and being loyal to us. So he's a rangy, 6'4", 220-pound defensive end. Got a huge upsize. Well, Coach Welch get him in that weight room and put some weight on him and get him more muscular. He's got potential to the limit. And then the quarterback, athlete, Darius McClung out of LaFleur County, Enabinga, Mississippi, another Delta kid. This kid right here, they were kind of buddies, and they feel like they can help Coahoma. They see the rise, they see what we went for all. Darius is a kid that great utility man. He can play quarterback. He can play receiver. He can play defensive back. And with a 55-man roster, that's the type of kid you need, because you never know on Thursday nights. We could lose a receiver and only be down to 4 guys, and you can put him at receiver, and he can be one of them guys that can bail you out until your depth get built back up. Or he could just be a guy that can play receiver, just start off the game. But he's a guy that can do multi things for the program.
Absolutely. I mean, that's absolutely wonderful and everything else, and seeing like a great experience of signing day in itself, and a day in the life of what Coahoma Community College football really does, especially to get the program better. And it seems like the payout might be coming for you guys. What do you think about that?
Well, yes. I tell anybody, college sports and college athletics, number one thing you got to be able to do is to bring some decent recruits in, no matter what sport it is. That's the first goal. Obviously, second goal is to make them a better young man. Once they get on campus, make them a better young man. Make sure they go to class. Make sure they're disciplined on the athletic field and in the classroom to be a successor. But the first thing you got to do is recruiting. And I think the thing with Will Robinson is, go back to him. He was our last, signee of the day. But Will was a young man who, about a month ago, he never had a cell phone. He always was on Twitter. And he tweeted all the coaches, so he started following me on Twitter. So I go to Coach Miller. I said, his cat from Hattiesburg followed me on Twitter. I wonder how real serious he is. And he started hitting me back. He said, "Coach, I see you texting me. I'm just not reading your Twitter." Well, he changed Twitter pages, gets a new one, and he tweets about how he wants to kind of leave this area and kind of grow on his own. And he had some people tell him that Clarksdale wasn't a place to grow because saying the environment wasn't great, and he kind of had a concern about that. Me and Coach Miller, we immediately get in the car around 10 o'clock. Go to Hattiesburg, watch him play basketball. Watch him play basketball after the game. We talked to him for about 30 minutes about that. And he said, "Coach, I just want to come on that visit." And that visit is going to be the deciding factor. When he came on the visit, he met Miss Dunn. He met, trying not to leave him off, he's one of our biggest fans, Mr. Dixon, Miss Griffin. And he met them, and they made him feel welcome. They made him feel the love and the care that the Coahoma Community College has for our student athletes. And he was so. He said it's nothing like people try to portray it if you don't come visit. It's nothing like it was portrayed, like people try to portray us, some did, to him in the recruiting process about Last Chance U. He said, "Guys, this is amazing." He said, "I would have never thought that if I wouldn't have came on the visit." And after the visit, he was sold. And that was him doing good. Then the first week the district opened up, I went to Florence High School, and I go in and Coach showing me this guy, and Coach says I got a kicker, all right, named Chaston Lamb. So I go, "Yeah." He says, "Y'all need a kicker?" I said, "Yeah, always you need a kicker. I always take a look at the kicker." So we go in and we look at Chaston, and I seen Chaston kick a ball out of the end zone on a kickoff, and I said, "Offer." Coach said, "Ho, you didn't call your head coach or nothing." I said, "Trust me. Head coach always give me the go if I know it's a no-brainer, an offer." And we offered Chaston and called Coach Miller. Said, Coach Miller, we found our kicker. And Chaston and his uncle came up one day in December when the district when it was open. Just came up and just toured the campus. And his uncle lives in Greenwood, Mississippi. That was another big factor with him. He's got family in Clarksdale and Greenwood. Mom lived in Clarksdale for 3 or 4 years. So when all that hit, when I told Chaston he had an offer, Chaston was like, yeah, I'm familiar with Coahoma, because I was trying to tell him the location and all. He said, oh, Coach, I'm familiar. I got family there. So immediately we used that contact to try to seal the deal. Like, okay, well, we can make him understand, okay, that, hey, you come here, kick for a year and a half. You know, you already know people in Clarksdale and the Delta area, and you can be successful. So Chaston was a guy that, you know, he came in and stood with him. And then one night, you know, his mom wanted us to meet her again down in Florence, and we did a home visit. And the home visit started like 8 o'clock. And me, Coach Miller, and Coach Lakes went down, and, you know, we had business the next day, so I had to get back and go, you know, get ready for the visit. But we had a great hour conversation. Mom felt comfortable. She just wanted to go over how the academic money works, how son academic is, for us, what we can do for him. And, you know, once Coach Miller laid out that plan, she was sold, and she was very excited and for him to be a Coahoma Tiger.
With the recruits that you have gotten, you found everything that the needs for your team and all that stuff. Could it be a big year next year for Coahoma football? Could this be a year of not just a winning season, but a lot more beyond expectations for Coahoma?
Well, the recruiting is not over, VK. And what I mean by that is now you always look for bounce back. The guys are leaving Division I. So we've got some out-of-state slots open that we feel good about, because we've got our board. But out-of-staters sometimes take a little longer. It might take all the way into June before they sign, you know, because they have that right. You know, they know they're going to junior college. So we got about 5 more slots in the out-of-state that we've got to close on. And we was over our board yesterday. If we could close on them, you know, we really feel good about this upcoming season and to closing and getting the season started against Jones. So we realize, you know, we had a great day Wednesday. Right now we just need to make sure we hit on the rest of our out-of-staters. Any kickbacks coming in from Ole Miss, Mississippi State, in-state, you know, we got a few maybe slots left. Seal the deal on them, and you know, never know what happened. But we feel good. We looked at our board. We feel like right now we're in the thick of things. It's just gonna come down to making sure we just pull our games out.
And then we got trials coming out, walk-ons and stuff like that.
February the 23rd. You know, Davion Taylor was a guy that came to the trials. Now he's at the University of Colorado. Mo Collins was a guy from around the Elsie High School. He signed Wednesday with Mississippi Valley State University. So the tryouts are still huge, because you got some kids, like I say, it could be at some high schools that people just don't really just try to go in all the time, or maybe had an injury as a senior and didn't perform well, but is getting healthy now. And them the type of kids you got to identify. So bounce backs, identify good kids in the tryouts, and hit on the out-of-staters, the 4 or 5 spots we got left. And, you know, we feel good right here at Coahoma. We feel good about our situation, because we know what we got on the board for out-of-state recruiting. And we know all we got to do is just start closing on some of the deals, which we will. I mean, we're on the phone constantly. Coach Harper's in his office now on RivalScout.com, looking at all that. Coach Lott is doing it. Myself. Started reaching out to Division I schools that we have buddies in to coach, and say, hey, do you know anybody at this position we might need? And that's how it works. They'll reach out to you. And once they reach out to you, you know, you start to get a contact on the kid and you start recruiting. So that's how it works.
Coach Charles Lee of the Coahoma Community College Tigers, recruiting coordinator, thank you so much for joining us to explain the process and also the success of the Coahoma Tigers. And we wish you guys luck the rest of the process and going into the 2018 football season, and it could be a big one next year for you guys.
Thanks, VK, and we're looking forward. Ride with the Tigers.